A lot of conversation has been going around involving Jimmy Uso, so we'll see what's new there. We'll also check out what's going on with the New Day, the Bloodline, and much more. Starting things off with the latest story update for the New Day over on Monday Night Raw. The New Day will be celebrating their 10-year anniversary together coming up on November 28, 2024. But if you've been paying close attention to their story in recent months, you already know that it hasn't been a smooth path to their 10-year anniversary date at all. The last few months have been filled with disappointment, frustration, and just the inability to ever get on the same page with each other. The first true gaping hole in the New Day was obviously the massive loss of Big E. Like Kofi and Xavier have even said themselves on several occasions, Big E was truly the heart and spirit of the group. So when he suddenly went down with a career-ending injury, Kofi and Xavier still kept the New Day going, but it felt like such a massive piece of the puzzle had been lost for the legendary team. But Xavier and Kofi still held strong and kept things going with just the both of them. They even won some championship gold a few years back, but the recent months of 2024 has just been full of non-stop letdowns for the team. Karrion Kross was planting seeds in Xavier Woods' head that Kofi didn't really see Woods as an equal and was looking down at him instead of viewing him as a fair partner. Of course, Woods rejected those planted seeds, but it looks like the more time passes, the more Xavier Woods is starting to wonder if Kross had some valid points there about what's happening within the New Day. Things escalated to new heights recently during a tag team championship match between the New Day and the Judgment Day. The finish of the match saw Kofi Kingston do his best to take out everyone at ringside, only issue being that Kofi's action there ended up distracting the referee to check on that situation, instead of counting the pin that Woods was trying to make. This would eventually lead towards the New Day losing the match, and we saw a miniature snapping moment from Xavier Woods to Kofi Kingston. Woods yelled at Kofi about how something kept going wrong every single time, and he was just in complete disbelief of yet again another massively embarrassing moment. And then in a backstage segment, Woods was seen yelling at the Latino World Order and blaming them for the New Day's title match loss. Kofi pointed out to Woods that they never needed help before in times past because they always had Big E, but how it was just the two of them now. Woods got very offended by this remark from Kofi and took it as Kofi disrespecting him and trying to say that Woods is no good help at all and was useless when compared to the help Big E once provided. So the New Day is in absolute shambles at the moment, and it's a very interesting story to follow because they've dedicated a lot of time to this story and has to be for a good reason. With all the time that's been poured into it, fans really are curious to see what the massive outcome will be. Are they buying time until November so they can have a 10-year celebration for the New Day but have it all go wrong with a betrayal? Could they bring Big E back to television in a non-wrestling role for the anniversary celebration, only for him to watch the group absolutely implode right in front of him during that anniversary ceremony? That all seems like realistic possibilities. We know Big E is not lacing up his boots anytime soon because of his serious neck injury, but it still feels like we just have to see a non-wrestling return from Big E, because he's still this overarching big piece to the New Day story even when he's not physically there. We hear his name get dropped by Woods and Kofi every single week, and it just feels like there's a chance with the story that he'll pop out maybe sometime in late 2024 to at least try and attempt to smooth things out between Kofi and Woods. It just feels like they can't split the New Day up without Big E at least making an attempt to fix things for the group. The obvious direction that a lot of fans are expecting to see here is a heel turn from Xavier Woods. Woods has been showing a lot of uncharacteristic heel tendencies in recent weeks, and even showed it again on the September 16th edition of Raw when he was being extremely aggressive to the Latino World Order, who was just a babyface faction that was trying to help out. They were not trying to do him wrong in any way. So for Woods to be aggressive towards them of all people definitely makes it seem like he's the one that will be turning heel out of the duo if a split was to ever happen in the near future. But another direction for this story is for the New Day not to split up, but maybe get refocused a bit and find their edge again. Maybe they become edgier babyfaces? Or maybe they turn heel together and find their way back to their first set of tag team championship gold for the first time in a few years. So we have to be on the lookout for where this story could be headed next, because it definitely seems like an explosive conclusion is en route. Rikishi got fans extremely worried and concerned recently after he took to social media to share a message about asking fans to pray for his son Jimmy. He noted that he wanted everyone to stay praying for Jimmy, but didn't provide any context about what was going on there with Jimmy Uso. That ambiguous message understandably sunk fans' hearts and had them instantly looking for answers about what was wrong with Jimmy. Sean Ross of Fightful reported that his sources said that Jimmy was fine and nothing else was said beyond that. Jimmy last appeared on television back in April after getting written off due to a brutal attack from his own brother, Solo Sikoa. Jimmy's write-off was such an important part of the story because it was the first big moment that started Solo's run as the new tribal chief and his entire bloodline take over. After Jimmy was written off from that attack, there were reports and rumblings that Jimmy was written off allegedly due to an undisclosed injury that he was also dealing with at the same time. No further details were ever given about that undisclosed injury, and now no details are coming out regarding Rikishi's post and what he could have been referring to. Was it just an ordinary post of Rikishi just wishing his son Jimmy the best in life generally speaking, or was that post in regards to a much more serious matter that the public isn't informed about quite yet? That's the really big question here, but assuming that the post from his father was just misunderstood and Jimmy's fine, then a lot of fans absolutely still expect to see Jimmy make his return by standing alongside Roman Reigns to help him against Solo Sikoa sometime soon. Jimmy was loyal to Roman last time they saw each other on television, and he has even more extra motivation and reasoning to stand by Roman in current day considering what Solo last did to him in April. So assuming everything is fine with Jimmy after all, we can surely expect for him to make an explosive return possibly sometime here in the final months of 2024. And Jimmy's return will obviously be the first domino to fall in terms of getting the original bloodline back together. So hopefully everything is okay with Jimmy after all, and hopefully his return isn't that far out if he is in fact in good health and strength. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments, don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.